Doesn't it make you crazy when people in glass houses throw stones? When they accuse you of being dirty as they stand in a pile of mud so deep they need hip boots? When they call you corrupt as a way to deflect attention from their own ineptitude? And such is the case with Chicago's police superintendent, Garry McCarthy. Hello and welcome to Justice. I'm Judge Jeanine. This week, Chicago's top cop, Police Superintendent Garry McCarthy, said gun rights groups that donate money to politicians and legal gun owners themselves are corrupt and they endanger public safety. Chief McCarthy also thinks our federal gun laws are racist. Take a listen.
Slavery, segregation, black codes, Jim Crow. What do they all have in common? Government-sponsored racism. Now, I want you to connect one more dot. Federal gun laws that facilitate the flow of illegal firearms into our urban centers across this country that are killing our black and brown children.
This chief of the third largest police department in the nation also says judges should rely on public opinion polls when interpreting the Constitution, since they are too dumb, obviously, to do it on their own. And his interpretation of the Second Amendment would require gun owners to carry a $1 million liability insurance policy and a GPS tracking device on civilian-owned guns. Hey, who needs a search warrant? Okay, Garry, if your definition of corrupt is when I support an elected official who believes in the Second Amendment, that right to bear arms, then by your very own definition, your boss, Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, must also be corrupt, since he receives donations from the bigwigs in Hollywood and the music industry, the same industry that sells blood-soaked violent imagery in movies, music, and video games to our kids. Hell, they even warned the president to stay away from their industry. So let me see if I understand this. If I support a politician who believes in the Second Amendment, I'm corrupt. But if your boss, as a politician, receives donations from those who believe in an uncensored First Amendment, he's not corrupt. And racist? You say our federal gun laws are racist? Are you really a cop? I'll tell you what racist is. Not policing a 12-block area on the south side of Chicago where children are shot so often they don't even run when they hear gunfire. I'll tell you what's racist. Making sure the Loop in downtown Chicago, where I, by the way, lived for 3 years, sees virtually no homicides. Yet on the south side of town, the poor, the downtrodden, the defenseless, black and brown children are murdered in the middle of the day, in parks, on playgrounds, and in places where they have a right to be. I'll tell you what's racist. Expending all your resources when NATO comes to town and the world is watching. When every sunrise on the minority side of town virtually guarantees certain death to a minority, and with a 75% chance that no one will ever be held accountable, let alone arrested and convicted. You allow gangs with illegal weapons to patrol the streets on the south side of Chicago, putting innocent victims at risk. And you hide behind accusations of racism while people in your city are dying. You criticize my right to own a legal gun that you want to tax and trace while your city is trampled by people with illegal guns. Why don't you track and trace them? You want to talk about federal gun laws? Wasn't your boss, Rahm Emanuel, chief of staff in the Obama administration, which oversaw the biggest illegal gun running operation in our nation's history? Wasn't he the chief of staff as the Obama administration sent assault weapons to Mexico, to the drug cartels, which were then used to kill American border agents? And if you're such a genius, why is the murder rate in Chicago higher now than when you got to town? And if 42 people were killed in January in the middle of the winter, what's going to happen this summer? And speaking of numbers, here's a doozy. You guys are so corrupt, you won't even release statistics on your own city's criminal justice numbers. Try as we might, six people gave us the runaround this week from the state's attorney's office and the clerk's office, saying you don't keep statistics on murder, arrest, and gun crimes. I'll bet you don't. Hell, it would only make you look like the hypocrite that you are. But it's not just me. Even the Chicago Justice Project can't get this information from you. We have no idea how many of the arrests for murders actually result in convictions because the political will to collect this data has been lacking within the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Those are their words. No surprise there. But how dare you pontificate from your perch in the undisputed murder capital of America and malign legal, law-abiding gun owners as agents of political corruption when you can't even control the flow of illegal guns in the city you're charged with protecting. And you want us to buy liability insurance? Why don't you just focus on solving your own problems? I've been a prosecutor, a judge, and an elected DA. Let me give you a few tips. You get yourself some confidential informants, some undercover officers, search warrants, surveillance, wiretaps, probable cause, and start making some arrests. And you make sure that your cops charge those crimes which require mandatory incarceration. And you make sure that the state's attorney's office prosecutes those arrests and that judges follow the law and send them to jail. Now, do you want to redefine your definition of corrupt? You know, my mom always told me it's better to remain silent and thought a fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt. Didn't your mother ever tell you that?